Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to this week's recap video. We're here in the studio because it's kind of a madhouse outside today. There's a lot going on. Benny and his guys are here, and you're gonna love the rock wall that they've just finished. So it's the area going from the brick patio down into the Hartley area. I love that we had enough space to put that little extra,
ledge.
Just that one step.
Right.
It creates two different spaces.
Sure.
Yeah, it's going to be so awesome. And I think they left to go pick up more rock, and they're going to be back. So anyway, they're going to be out there working, and they've been cutting some of the stones on the backside. So it's been loud and dusty. And then there's some electricians here today.
Yeah.
I don't even know exactly what they're doing, but they're here.
Yeah, they're just running some Ethernet lines.
Oh, are they?
Throughout the property.
Very nice. So we'll just jump into the videos from this past week. The first one was planting a few of my favorites on the west side. So two of them, I was just finishing off areas, like the boxwood hedge along the driveway. We had a gap. Is there a reason why we stopped there? I feel like maybe we were going to do something different at the end. Kind of like the ARB hedge on the west side. We stopped because we had a plan to do something, and then we decided to carry on with the hedge later. Do you remember? I can't remember. Maybe we just simply ran out of boxwoods.
Was there something planted?
I don't think so.
Was the fence there? The white fence was there.
Yes, it was. You're right.
Yeah.
There was a random section of white picket fence.
Yeah.
Well,
it wasn't all that random because it ran into the old privet hedge. So it used to be old privet hedge. Oh, you're
right. I need a refresh on
the thing that was a little crazy to me is that they put all the white fencing around the plants that were here. So it's like if there was a plant or a hedge or something, they would just stop the fence. There'd be a plant, and then they'd continue the fence. And that just like kills me.
I can't imagine you ever making that decision.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, plants can grow. Just give it like a couple of years. But like a fence is pretty permanent. Like
what if there's a big tree, a big gorgeous tree right in the way?
A tree, I could an established tree, I could understand. Mm-hmm. But no shrub. If there's a shrub in the way, you rip it out.
What if it's a rare shrub?
We don't have any rare shrubs.
But what if it was a rare shrub?
Maybe if there was a rare shrub, I suppose. But if it's just a regular old privet, it's like you rip out the shrubs that are in the way, you get your permanent structures in, and then you plant around that.
It's probably the best way to go about it. And then I planted some Hakonakloa, also called Japanese forest grass. I had a couple that had survived the transplant. I had dug them up from in front of our crabapple tree up front in our front lawn when we ripped that area up, and I just moved them over. It was I think it was one of those like last minute pushes, and it was like either really cold or I can't remember, but only a couple of them took. So I added to that area. I love that grass there. Isn't it pretty there? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so gorgeous. And then I added some more ladies mantle onto the west side, on the other side of the driveway. I already have a couple of sections of it planted, so I wanted to plant a couple more because there are like ladies mantle, iris, delphiniums, and English roses I've got in every single section over there. So I wanted to carry on with some of the same plants and then put other things in around those. So I was just adding to that. Nelda said, Halloween idea, put up a notice that says bindweed and spider mites. That would be really scary. that is scary. Yeah. Oh, the scariest. Krista said, do you have a favorite type of boxwood? I don't know that I could say that I have a favorite type of boxwood. I can tell you I have the most experience with winter gems. Like, so much more experience with that variety than any other variety. We've been planting sprinters here for a little while. We've had kind of like so-so luck. They are fast growing, but they seem to be more prone to spider mites in our experience anyway. I mean, we have winter gems and sprinters right next to each other, and the sprinters took it hard, and winter gems just kind of like sailed through. Winter gems typically bronze a little bit more in the winter than the sprinters have, but winter gems have more of a network of branches, like they're a little more stout. Sprinters seem to kind of like shoot up really long stems that are a little bit more weak. That might improve over time as we hedge them more and more, cut them back more and more. It'll promote more side branching. But the sprinters have recovered super fast because they are fast growing. We have planted North Stars and really liked those. Those were in that little section by the hellebores, by our back kitchen door. They're not there anymore. We had to kind of get rid of that area in order to make our patio bigger. Green and mountain boxwoods, I love. Now those grow more conically. They are darker colored leaves. They don't bronze in the wintertime. They don't seem to get spider mites. They're just like this
They have, to me, a little bit more of like a dull green.
They do. It's like a deep green, but it's a little bit less shiny.
Yeah.
It's a little less brilliant.
Yeah.
But you're not dealing with any of the junk that you deal with on the others.
You notice that with trees around here too. Like the ones that are like kind of more of a dull green, like elm trees, they perform the best. I mean, they get borers and all that kind of stuff, but they stay greener longer.
Speaking of borers, when we had that maple tree, that the great big one we had to have removed already, and it was like broken branches and it had issues. When we had it cut down, it was full of borers. It had larvae all over in that tree. I think even if it would have taken in that spot, we would have eventually had to remove it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it happened early.
Or just treat it.
I don't know, though. I don't know how extensive, because there were a lot of them, weren't there? Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I talked to Nathan about it, and he said that when trees are stressed, they'll get borers quickly. Mm-hmm. So it's like they know. So
it's possible the areas of the tree that we thought, ooh, it might have some chlorosis, I think it was borer damage. Mm-hmm. I think we would have eventually lost some of those sections. So, everything kind of works out in the end. And so I feel really good about that whole thing now. Anyway, we've also, in terms of boxwoods, we're planting green velvets around the Hartley primarily, and winter gems. I don't think I've got any real experience with any others except for the variegated. I have planted variegated, and they don't seem to winter well in our area. However, my sister has had one in a pot on her front porch, which she neglects on the regular, and it's just thriving and doing great.
Maybe that's what it needs.
Maybe it just needs more neglect. Amy says, hardiness is my favorite grass to brighten up a shady area. Do you know why it's so expensive? I've always wondered. It is an expensive grass. Like, you'll find a little container, it's like $17.99. And a lot of times you want more than just one. You want to create an area.
It's rare.
So that adds up. I think it usually has to do with like the genetics and how that came about, and the cost involved in creating the plant, and then also how hard it is to grow. If it's a very slow one to grow and take off for growers, it's kind of like hellebores. A lot of people don't like to mess with hellebores because they take a while.
I think a lot of growers think about how long plants take. They only have so much space,
right?
So they look at selling plants per square foot. Mm-hmm. Like, how much square foot does this plant take, and how long is it taking up that square footage? And that's the price tag I have to put on this, based on how long it was sitting here in this square foot.
The best example are evergreens, like one of the slowest growing things. And that's why when you find a specimen that's large, they're so expensive, because it just takes so long for the grower to get them to that point. That's a lot of years of risk, a lot of years of care. So I'm thinking that that's probably why. Lori said, a question about your drip system. Why do you flush the system every day? Do you do that manually or on a timer? It's on a timer. You could probably speak on that more than I can.
It's flushing the filter. It's not actually flushing the whole system. So we just have a filter that catches the particulates, and then that flushes.
Particulates?
Yes.
Shannon said, do we see the return of Mailtime videos anytime soon? I'm sure I'm not the only one who misses them. I don't know. Do you think that everybody was like 50-50? People either loved it or hated it?
Well, aside from that, it turns into a monster.
It was becoming a monster, a little bit of a monster.
It kind of is like this snowball that you feel like you can't stop, because you do a mail time, and then people start sending you stuff, and then you do another mail time and people send you more stuff, and you start to kind of feel gross a little bit about all the stuff that people are sending you, and all
the material you're left with in the end, like all the boxes and the packaging and all of that. So you're looking at all of that and all the things that we've been blessed. There's not a lot of things that we find ourselves in need of,
right?
And so you're left with all these sweet things. A lot of times they're super thoughtful gifts. In fact, I just opened up a box that have two little white rocking chairs that are personalized, Benjamin and Samantha. Things like that are just so sweet. And we still do receive things far less than we used to because of stopping mail times. But it gives us a chance to reach back out to whoever sent it in a more personal way, instead of, it just felt a little bit insincere. Mm-hmm. Not that it wasn't insincere, or not that it wasn't sincere, but when it's such mass, you know. I don't know. So no, I don't think we'll bring those back. Yeah. I don't anticipate doing that ever.
I don't think there's a way to do it on a small scale.
No.
It gets too big too quickly, and so
Yeah.
I don't know.
We were getting a lot of messages too. Did you receive it? Did you
Right.
if somebody sent something that we didn't put in email time, because I would filter out anything that was business related, somebody who just wanted their business to be shouted out, because you can tell those things that are sent to us on a personal level, and then the things that are just sent on for different reasons. Anyway, it gets a little old kind of filtering out those messages. I'm glad you enjoyed them though. I mean, there was a time before it got to be this big thing where it was really, it felt something I never thought I would be doing, setting up and opening all of these things. And it was that part was fun until it became too much.
Yeah.
Blakeland said, what variety of lamium do you have planted? Oh, I've got purple and pink Chablis. What is the other variety? It's a super common variety. So I know I have Purple Dragon. I've got White Nancy. I do have some Lamiastrum, which is really cool. It's a little bit of a different plant. It's still got kind of the same leaf. It's a green, deep green with heavy silver variegation, but it has yellow flowers instead of your typical pink, purple, and white. It's really cool. What other one do I have? Orchid Frost. That's probably the bulk of it. Bulk of our lamium are those varieties. Victoria said, what are your plans for the other side of the walkway on the west side? I know you have planted random melons or vine crops at one point. I did do that. But do you plan to leave that side empty, or what is your vision? For now, I want to leave it empty. I need some breathing space over there. I want to really develop that other side of the walkway. I mean, it's possible we may end up adding benches. I don't know. I don't really foresee that, but it's possible. I just feel like having that open space is really calming in that area. There's a lot going on the other side. And then, my goodness, those surefire rose begonias, you guys. We really need to get out there and film around those because they are stunning. Those are the plants right below each one of the maple trees. Laura said, what camera are you using? Love that it's not shaking at all. I filmed that one, didn't I? Mm-hmm. Yeah, GoPro.
Whatever the latest GoPro is.
Yeah, that's the one I was using. Next video was the brick walkway update tour and planting phlox. So because the brick walkway is just still a little bit unfinished, there's still little details that we needed to finish up on that. And I don't know how long it's going to take. I just decided it was a good time just to give you an update tour, show you how it was looking. And I'm glad I did, because I got a message, I think it was that day or the next day, saying that our furniture that we ordered for that area wasn't going to be here until the week of the 24th. It was supposed to be here the week prior to us even doing this update tour, and then it was supposed to be here last week, and then it got pushed out a couple more weeks. I sure hope it doesn't get pushed out anymore. We won't even be able to sit on it before wintertime. Yeah. We'll have to cover it immediately. And then I planted some luminary, ultraviolet, and opalescence phlox up in the Versailles garden just to add to what we currently had in that area. We did dig out a Japanese maple, which was tough. I had to call Aaron. I had to call you and say, like, I cannot get this tree out. I just physically couldn't do it. And it took a long time for you and I both. I was like reefing on it one direction while you were using the shovel. But anyway, I think it made that area look pretty. Jeff said, early viewers remember when the walk from the parking to the door was narrow and lined with rose bushes that would snag you as you walked by and even ripped your plastic grocery bags. What an incredible transformation. That is true. Yeah. Thinking back.
The rose garden.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't watched since we moved into the house, which has been 6 years ago now at this point, it was that narrow walkway. And then it was a traditional rose garden, like roses of all different colors, which one side wasn't getting enough sun, so they were languishing. One side did really well, and they got huge, and they would reach out, and it was too much. Like they were planted too close to the sidewalk for being a main sidewalk. They were planted too close. Anyway, that's crazy that those were there. Those all went to new homes, too. Those were dug up by friends, and they went to new homes. Diane said, I love phlox. I'm curious to know the difference when buying a 4-inch pot versus a gallon size. How much longer has the gallon size plant been in that pot? How long will it take for a 4-inch plant to be the same size? Oh, it might be different. It depends on the variety, but maybe a year or two, I would guess, difference. Gardening Corner said, honest question, Laura, just how big is your land? When I think you're done, here you come with another empty space needing flowers and plants to fill up. So our total acreage.
I think it's 8.5 acres now.
Total. 8.5 acres. Delina said, is your family rich or did you marry into money? Or did you win the lottery? You guys spend quite a bit of money. We put so much of what we make back into the business. We don't spend money on hardly anything else. It's crazy. We know we didn't come from money and we did not win the lottery. We, however, like kind of entered into the YouTube scene, I think at the right time, maybe. And you guys have been incredibly supportive of what we do. We work with some great sponsors, like all of it combined. Like it's been a really incredible journey for us. And really in a fairly short amount of time, it's been 8 years. At this point, we've been doing this 6 years full time, right? Because we did it 2 years.
Yeah. Boy, I'm kind of a little...
I think our 2-year anniversary, I was still working at the garden center 2 days a week, but I phased out that summer.
Yeah.
And it was shortly before then when you went full time. You went full time before I did, just by a few months.
Yeah.
Because I still wanted to be at the garden center. I liked it down there. Yeah. So certainly everything has worked out well. We do. I mean,
well, back then too, it seemed like I was spending almost more time than you were because like, if you would film a video, I was filming you.
Yes.
So I was there
right.
You weren't filming yourself. So I was there for filming you. And then I also had to be there to edit the whole thing.
Right.
So it's like...
We had no help, you guys. I mean, we didn't have any kids at the time. So there's that. But we had no outside help, no editing help, we did it all by ourselves. And so gradually as we've expanded and really put out more content, we've had to get help because there's no way we could have done it on our own. Yeah. I mean, we've worked really hard too, like really super, super duper hard. And a lot of things kind of revolve around our business, which is kind of how we want it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun too. It's not all hard work, you know?
Yeah.
So Shayna said, you guys are so capable. And when you build the porch, those bits of concrete will be hidden. Why not rent a small concrete mixer and tackle it yourselves?
We could. Here's the thing though, is that we do have 3 or 4 small jobs. Like one of them is creating an approach actually here for in the studio on the outside. We still haven't, poured that approach. We need a little section in the back of the barn. So like and I don't really want to tackle that because when you're trying to match an approach that is already existing, I don't know. I feel like I would want somebody else to tackle that. So because of that, I feel like I want to get a professional. I want to get somebody who like does concrete because we've talked to some people who are like handyman type people, but sometimes you can run into issues with that where it's not something that they do all the time. They're just handymen. I kind of want an actual concrete
We would be
person.
worse than a handyman.
Yeah.
Not that handymans are bad.
They're
that
not.
Sounds bad,
they're totally
you know
not.
what I mean?
But like when you get somebody who's just a professional at concrete, the problem is the people who are doing concrete are just booked out. They're busy. So
Cindy said, Laura, can you talk real slow for the dunce people, me, out here and explain zones? I'm 9B. Why can't I grow something that says zone 8? It's because a zone 8 plant won't get enough cold hours in your zone 9 to be productive. So a good example would be like a red twig dogwood, Arctic fire. I think they're a zone 3 through 7. The lower end of that zone range, the zone 3, means that plant can only survive down to a zone 3, which is negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty darn cold. Might be even a zone 2. I'm not sure. Anyway, it can survive pretty cold temps, but nothing below that. And then the upper end of that scale, the zone 7 part of it, means that it has to be in an area that receives the certain amount of cold hours that a zone 7 has. So it won't even survive in a zone 8. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. A zone 8 doesn't get cold enough or it doesn't have a long enough vernalization period.
Yeah.
Like
cold period is another name for that.
To survive.
Yeah.
Don't you think some of those plants, like they might survive, but they won't thrive if they don't get enough cold?
Yeah,
you think
maybe.
that they'll actually die?
Eventually.
Because I feel like some people kind of like tweak it a little bit, but it's like, it just won't be the plant that it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It'll just kind of languish.
Billy Joe Bob said, is it time to give up the dream of a nice Japanese maple? For what they cost, I can't see replacing them constantly. Is it talking about my Japanese maple?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, we did dig one out.
Yeah, we do have to replace them. I feel like they're kind of maybe like hydrangeas. Like if you find the right spot, they work, but it's easy to put them in the wrong spot.
I currently, though, have like the bloodgood we had in the pot on the back patio that survived for 5 years in that pot.
How much was it?
It was like $80.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was $79.99. I think I remember that.
Divided by 5 years.
Yeah,
that's pretty good enjoyment
for a container centerpiece that was that showy. I probably paid about the same amount for that Japanese maple we dug out, which that was in there for 3 seasons, I think. And it just, after the poor thing, it got exposed after our blue spruce fell down, and it was then subjected to full afternoon sun, which it never had before. And Japanese maples don't do really well in areas like that for us. They can't take our full sun. So it really had the odds stacked up against it.
Yeah.
I think it may have done fine had that blue spruce survived.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got lots of other ones. Like Katsura, I've got another emperor. I've got the one up in the front corner, which was sick at the garden center, and we brought it here and planted it, one of the first things, really. And it's still thriving. So, I mean, I think we have pretty good luck with them here. It's not one of those plants that I think, like, oh man, I'm not going to do that anymore. Like I do on a few other, like the purple beautyberry. Is that what they are? Is it Calicarpa?
Yeah, we've never planted one of those in full sun, though. Like full sun.
We should try that, I guess.
I feel like we need to do that first before we give up on it.
Yeah. Love to Sew said, the brick walkway is just gorgeous. How is the stone pathway in the south garden coming along?
Not good.
It's not coming along at all. We need to get after it. We
ran out of stone.
We did run out of stone, and they just got it in today, so that's nice. I mean, we had stone there, but Benny used it. I actually went out there one day, and I was like, where did all of our stone go?
Yeah.
I didn't realize Benny had picked it up and started to use off of that pallet, but it's all the same stone, so it doesn't matter. But it's about the time when we could start tackling that again. It was just so hot. It was so hot for so long, and we didn't want to be out there at 100 and whatever doing that. So,
that's a hard job to do in over 100-degree temperatures.
Yeah. And then you and I have been like, we still have like some lingering, you probably can hear it in all of our videos, but I'm like congested still.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of these days I'll be back at it with the stone lifting. Next video was my mom is back at it. We had a fun day antiquing. She wanted to go, and I just was so excited about it. And I thought, well, if we just took it slow and maybe just did 1 stop or 2 stops, it's something that she could do maybe. And yeah, it was just such a fun day. It's so nice to get back out there, and I found some good stuff. She also found some really pretty crowns to do a centerpiece on her table. So Cassie said, did Monica get her crock? Inquiring minds want to know. I kept hoping they got it and just didn't say. We never saw one. I didn't see a single crock that whole day. And usually it's weird when you are looking for something, you can't find it, and then all of a sudden, like, you eventually get one, and then you see them everywhere. It's weird how that works out. Beth said, you may have answered this at one point, but why do you call your sister Monica's with an S on the end? It's so cute, and I'm guessing there's a story. You guys are the best. I love a good antiquing day. When did that come about?
Was that one of the kids that said it?
I don't know.
I know.
I've called her Monica's for a long time.
Was it Emma that called her Monica Law?
Monica Law, yeah. Yeah.
Or Livy?
Our niece. I think it was Emma.
Yeah, one of them called her Monica Law.
Yeah.
So that was a nickname. But Monica's, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, I actually write that on her like gifts.
Yeah.
2 Monicas from Laura. I didn't really even think about it. Rachel said, can we see an update on Samantha's room? It's not quite done, but it is so cute. I just went through the closet in that room. I'm almost done. I've got a few little pieces. It's where I was keeping like glass hurricanes for candles, and I have apothecary jars. I think that's what they're called, right? Like the neat ones. I should get those all out and do like a candy bar for Halloween time. Anyway, I was just using it for storage, and I just needed to go through it. I got rid of a bunch of stuff, gave it all away, and then was putting stuff in appropriate areas. And then it's got some shelves in the closet that are really weak. Like, I need to take those down and get a little closet organizer and put that in there. But it's so cute. Samantha said, how do you clean the chairs you get from the antique stores? I always find beautiful ones, but I'm hesitant to buy them because I'm unsure how to go about cleaning them. I actually bought a carpet shampooer that I'm going to use on that. My mom uses hers all the time on things like that. And I was going to borrow hers that day. And I thought, you know what? I do this enough. And we have got carpet the carpet in our great room, you guys, it's bad. I mean, maybe
it's 2 kids bad.
Well, it's 2 kids and me bad.
Yeah.
I am not fussy about shoes in the house or I don't want people eating in their bedrooms, but I don't mind like eating on the couch and stuff like that. I want it to feel comfortable and people to be able to live their life in our house. which gives you in return sometimes, especially when you have young kids, pretty crappy looking carpets.
Stained carpet furniture.
Yeah. And we want to replace them, but at what point do you do that? Do we wait till Samantha is 3, 4, or will they always kind of be in that state? I don't know. But I bought a carpet cleaner because I thought I could use it on so many different things, that chair included. M said, can I start a pile? Every shop owner's dream. Yep, that's pretty much every time we go in there. We have our little pile. And at the Antique World Mall, I know what shelf to put my stuff in and where to pile it on the floor if it's too big. It's fun. Pam said, so great to see your mom up and about. Did she forget her Swiffer? No, she looked for one. We actually both struck out at Home Depot. She needed one that was really long, so she had to order one. It was I think it's for the corners in their living room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how high those are.
Pretty high.
But she got one that's 18 feet, and then, 18 feet long plus whoever's holding it.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't think they're...
More than she needs.
Probably. But it's probably better to be a little over...
I feel like it's maybe not more than 18 feet just from the ground.
Probably not. Maybe right at. The Living Well Therapy said, what is the first antique store name? It's called Enchanting Objects. It's one of our main stops whenever we go antiquing. Next video was picking out big trees and harvesting some of our pumpkins. So Erin and I, it was so nice. It was a Monday morning. It's kind of fun when you're starting out your work week knowing you've got a pretty drive and you get to go look through some gorgeous trees. I mean, that's a fun way to start a week. So we went out to Malad Tree Farm, picked out 7 or 8? 8 trees.
Nathan actually texted me what we picked out.
Oh, okay.
Because we were kind of just going willy-nilly.
I was getting a little scared there toward
the
end.
We got 2 green Colorado spruces. 3 blue, Colorado blue. 5, and then 3 Norway.
Okay. Sounds about right.
Yeah. So the tallest one we picked out was a 25-foot Norway, and then the shortest was 15-foot Colorado blue.
Dang. Is there a price on that?
No, we still don't know what the prices are. We told him, though, get us the prices, and if we have to,
have to, forget a couple of them.
It's kind of like taking all your groceries up to the counter and just being like, I only got $20 in my pocket.
Yeah,
so
let's see what we can fit.
Really hope something doesn't need to go back on the shelf.
RC said, question to anyone. I want to grow the little pumpkins next year. Does anyone know if they get squash bugs and how to prevent them? Yes, they will get squash bugs. Maybe not your first year. A lot of times when you're very first starting off with vine crops, you don't have, it's like the virgin field, it doesn't have insect problems yet because they haven't found that field yet. So eventually they will find you, I swear. Blue Hubbard squash is a good host plant if you want to plant something next to it or nearby it to keep the squash bugs off of your plant. Hand picking them is probably one of the best methods. You stay on it early on. Captain Jack's dead bug is a good preventative spray. You have to spray every single week though. And then we use diatomaceous earth. Paul went out there and just dusted the whole plant's ground all over the leaves. And I think that really, really helped because we didn't have to do it for a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And then eventually we had squash bugs right in the beginning and I would hand pick squish. And then I'd find the eggs and squish up the eggs as much as I could. And I think being diligent with that keeps them at bay. However, I didn't have very good productivity on my Jack D. Littles. I got 5 pumpkins on that vine total. Typically, I get 20 off of one hill of Jack B. Little pumpkins. So I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe I planted the other 2 too close. There were 2 Howden mounds right there that kind of, they
get so big.
They get so big.
Whatever the tag says they're going to get, you got to double it.
Yeah. My goodness. And the crazy thing too, this morning, and you'll have seen this video before this one comes out. I planted 2 butternut squash plants. It was just single plants. I got them in a 2-pack. And I harvested 64 butternut squash off of those 2 plants this morning. And there's about 5 left on the vine that are nice and big, but they haven't ripened up yet. Crazy. And they got massive. I planted them right in the middle of one of our 60 by 40 foot quadrants out there, and they spidered out to the edges on both sides. It's just crazy amount of growth. I won't do that again. That was a dumb move. Yeah. Beverly said, that was fun watching you and Aaron tag the trees. How many did you buy? 8. Can't wait for the next video when you plant them. That drive along the water was awesome. Benjamin is sure growing up and loves to help mom. Yes, he does. He's got such a servant's heart.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cute. Jessica said, ballpark, are we talking 6 or 7 figures a tree?
4 figures a tree.
Yeah, I'm like 6 figures. That's a lot of figures.
Yeah.
4 figures a tree.
Yeah. Like ballpark would be, more than 1,000, less than 10,000, depending on how big of a tree you're getting, of course.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a big price difference between like a 12-foot tall tree or a 25 or 30-foot tall tree.
Yeah. Sandy says, if everyone shopping for trees uses the same color tape, how do they know which are yours? I took pictures of every single tree minus one, but we have the video to back up which ones we chose.
It's not public. People don't just walk through there and tag. It's like he was out there with us. We didn't show him because he let us kind of wander. But then when we were done, we grabbed him and showed him all the ones that we tagged. So he knows.
And then we sent him pictures of the ones that we tagged.
Yeah. The way it works is that you call him, you set up an appointment. It's like by appointment only. You don't just go walk around his field. You walk around with him, or he lets you walk by yourself if you want, which is what we did.
Yeah, he just sets us loose. Like the first time he kind of like showed us around a little bit more. And this time he's like, you guys know what you're doing. Yeah. Here's the tape. Go back, go around, discuss things, really. And I liked that. It gave us a chance to
less
really.
pressure.
Yeah.
You don't feel like.
Yeah. And then he just said, call me when you're ready.
Yeah.
And then he'd come back out and we went through everything. Deborah said, general question about pumpkins. Can you bake with all different types, or are there certain ones that you bake with? I think there are certain ones that you bake with. The cinnamon girls that we harvested that day, those are termed a pie pumpkin. Typically, they have a higher sugar content. Some of them are a lot more watery than others. Some are much more dense. I heard once that a lot of the pie, like pumpkin that they use for canned pumpkin, maybe you guys can tell me if this is false, is not actually pumpkin. It's like the sweetmeat squash.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if that's true, but I think a lot of times squash is used in, like the sweet squash is used in place of pumpkin.
Interesting.
Maybe? I don't know. That's like a factoid I heard a long time ago. It's probably false. Scotty said, how do you approach buying such huge trees with your wind issue? No problem getting them established. They stake them hard. They stake them up from 4 different angles. They stake them from the side that gets the prevailing winds, and then they stake them from like southwest. I think we get southwest. We get a lot of west and southwest wind, but we also, because we lost the spruce to like a north, it was a shooting northeast kind of, maybe just straight north. Anyway, he kind of knows the area and what direction our winds possibly could come from. So like the maple, he staked 5-6 times. The spruces are staked 3 or 4 stakes per tree, and they're intense. You kind of saw what they were, right?
Yeah, it's the type of, it's kind of like a molly. You know how you put in, is that what those are called?
The anchor in the wall?
Yeah. Yeah. You put them in drywall, and like you put them in, and as you pull them out, they kind of splay out.
Yeah.
And then, so it's like that where it goes in, and as you pull it out, it actually like, I don't know, it's like got a hook to where it can't come back out. It can go in, but it can't come back out. They're intense.
Yeah.
And you have to pound them in with a sledgehammer.
And you guys, that was the last question, actually. I didn't even realize. Now, we are 1 video short this week for our recap. We're actually filming this on Wednesday. We typically film them on Thursdays because this weekend, Aaron is going to be out of town. So this is so fun. Aaron's dad is a huge Vikings fan, and he's always wanted to kind of go watch a game.
Grew up in Minnesota.
Yeah, he grew up in Minnesota. And so for his birthday, Aaron surprised him with plane tickets and football tickets, Vikings tickets, to go to a game. So they are flying out Saturday and going to the game on Sunday, and then you fly home Sunday night. Yeah. It's a pretty quick trip, but it's going to be so fun and such a fun memory. And Aaron's brother, Tim, is going too, so it'll be all the boys. It'll be really fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, so our weekend's just a little bit weirder than normal. So that's why we're short 1 video this week. So next week we will have 1 extra. Unless we have to skip a day if we get off from this weekend. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day and have a great week as well. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.